Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today for the Cloud Wars Expo News Desk interview and being part of this experience with us. And before we dive in real quick, if you could just go around, kind of briefly introduce yourselves, just very brief, and we'll dive into some of the topics here and get the conversation flowing. So we'll start over here on my left here.
Yeah, my name is Toni Tomic. I'm with SAP, running the insurance vertical globally.
Okay.
Nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you as well, yeah.
Hi, Aaron. My name is Falk Rieker. I'm heading our industry business unit for banking and capital markets at SAP.
Okay.
Hi, Aaron. So my name is Mitch Bouchard, and I'm the president of SAP Fioneer, the joint venture that we spun out of SAP in September 1st.
Okay.
So, I'm the startup kid on the block here.
Okay. Well, phenomenal. So we've got some great things we can dig into, but something I wanted to dig into a bit here around with SAP is that sometimes for quite a while, many people saw this broad solution of platforms that people had to deal with. They try to fit what they do inside of just this, I'll call it crudely, a blank slate solution. It wasn't purpose built, in other words, for their industry. Instead, had to try to fit their industry inside of a big, broad platform. It didn't speak their language, so to speak. It didn't have the purpose-built workflows or work streams that were into it. But now that we have these purpose-built solutions, and you're having these conversations with customers, have they had to shift their mindset around adopting purpose-built solutions, or has there been specific challenges that these purpose-built solutions have helped them overcome? And how is SAP addressing some of those? I'll start over here on my left here real quick. Yeah,
I think in terms of the purpose-built solutions, if you look into financial services as our industry, we're building industry-specific solutions since the last 20 years, which starts with core banking, it starts with core insurance, and we actually evolved from our finance heritage.
Okay.
And we've developed these solutions kind of really from an end-to-end perspective. And to even further grow now and really find a solution for this into the cloud, right? Because a lot of the companies, the cloud is the way to go for, right?
Right.
And have the purpose-built solutions in that sense. That's why we, together with Mitch and his peers, actually are investing huge amount of money to really move these solutions over there in the cloud and have them purpose-built, while at the same time fitting to the entire intelligent enterprise strategy of SAP.
Okay.
Right. So actually, we definitely, I think, the heritage from which we come, we're just putting it, I think, now on a different level with all the industry cloud activities that we as a company are doing, and that's as well why we defined, I think, a very innovative approach that's not seen in the market, where we really have a dedicated company that is satisfying the industry-specific needs of our customers and all what relates to that, which means regulatory compliance, security issues, which you have in financial services, obviously, while at the same time delivering the benefits of purpose-built solutions in the cloud.
Yeah.
Mitch, you want
to add to that?
Yeah, what I'd add is, listen, SAP's heritage has always been that we've transformed industries, right? And I think banking and insurance may be the one that we just never finished our business on.
Okay.
Right? And I think this investment actually accelerates our ability to change the clients, the processes and automate the processes within your environment and harden them like we have with some other industries. And I think what's a little bit unique about what we're able to do now is because of the way we structured SAP Fioneer, we really have a view on how we co-innovate with the clients, where we do have gaps in some of the portfolios within our products as well. So, we're engaging with our clients in a different way, asking them to be part of, helping us solve the problem, right? And then commercializing the solution and taking it out to the market, which in general, clients have been extremely receptive to the approach that SAP has taken to financial services with this announcement.
And so it's Fioneer, correct? Is that
Fioneer, SAP Fioneer.
Fioneer, well, because what struck me when you first said that is it reminds me of a financial pioneer, pioneering things in the industry. Right. And I don't know if that was me just picking up on something, or if that was purpose, the way you named it that way. But yeah,
this is purpose. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, maybe I just picked up on it.
We're financial pioneers here.
Yes. So wonderful. Yeah. And I like that. And I was wondering, and the next iteration of this that we're seeing a huge emphasis on, and maybe I can start over here, is around sustainability. And there's this purposefulness around sustainability within SAPs, and it's really a cornerstone of what SAP is doing. But however, there are challenges inside of each industry, let alone the financial services industry, of meeting some sustainability goals. How are you seeing SAP equipping and helping its customers meet some of their sustainability goals and efforts?
So first of all, let me point out, we are serving 25 different industries. Mm-hmm. And we are the one company that has really the insight and the end-to-end view about the supply chain and physical supply chain, as well as the financial supply chain.
Right.
So sustainability is top of mind for us, not only for financial service, but in the other industries as well. Mm-hmm. And sustainability is not just an ESG report.
Exactly.
There are multiple things. When you think about financial services companies like banks, insurance companies own a lot of real estate. Mm-hmm. How to deal with that real estate going forward. Mm-hmm. It's obviously about sustainable products as well. Investment insights into green investments. Green bonds, green loans. Mm-hmm. Diversity.
Right.
For talent. Do I have enough diverse workforce? Yeah.
Well, I've even seen, you mentioned investments there, if I could interject, is a lot of investment firms are looking for what companies to invest in, and those companies have a sustainability mindset, and it's more than checking a checkbox, like you said, of just an ESG report, for example. It's a journey. And if you think about it.
Banks and insurance companies, they will look at the sustainability ratings of their customers going forward. Yeah. And the better your rating is, the better your conditions are.
Right.
Same with the banks. Yeah. You will see that this will have impact at the end of the day on their ability to fund themselves in the capital markets.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely believe if you just look into financial asset management and investment accounting as such, right now we have 4.3 trillion euros in assets under management that run over our software solutions. So to give you a couple of examples, right? So AXA right now runs 395 billion euros of assets within our investment accounting. So we have the access to the data, right, in these terms. And companies that are using the same are Zurich, for example, right? I mean, really the who is who in the industry with the biggest books that are out there. And for us, the aim is really to support the companies in terms of the decision making and to give transparency about the data, where they are invested in, and really drive a SAP sustainability cloud, right? In these terms, by connecting the dots with the solutions we have. Another aspect is, we have the largest network of buyers and suppliers, right, with 5 million companies on it. So if you look into your suppliers as a bank or insurance company, capital markets company, you actually really want to as well validate, are they having the same strategy that you have, the same view on sustainability that you have, right? Providing this transparency to them in terms of as well, whom are they partnering with? I think that's another example on how we do this. And on the other hand, if you look into our workforce management and what we do around that, I think we have 278 million users on it.
Wow!
Right?
Yeah.
And if you look into that, you can have a view on this too. On the other hand, if you look into what we do with contingent labor, we have 78 million people on it. So these are initiatives that we really try to bring together into our offering towards our customers, right? Always with the spin in terms of what does it mean on the entire sustainability umbrella.
Right.
And plus, if it gets down to the real products in banking and insurance, we obviously with SAP Fioneer are continuing the investments into that as well to kind of provide really a holistic view for a financial service institution.
Well, I like that you mentioned that word trust, because that leads into my point I was going to be touching on here, is that trust around protecting customers' data. You have to be transparent about how well you're doing being trust and being really a good data steward, because they're entrusting you with a lot of sensitive information around their personal data or a business's personal data or corporate data. And what's your sense of preparedness that customers have when it comes to understanding how well to protect that data inside of the financial services industry?
When you look at financial services, I think they're very well prepared. So it's the business of banks, and insurance company to protect the data of their customers.
When they understand risk, I think a lot
and
lot
they
more.
Understand the risk as well.
Yeah.
So compared to other industries, I think there's a very high sense of accountability to make sure that the data is handled correctly and safe.
It becomes painfully obvious when you're trying to negotiate a contract in the cloud with a bank or an insurance company on what happens with client data, what happens with their data. I think probably the biggest effort is always trying to get through their risk assessments. And these are these are significant, but they're there for a reason. Right? They're there for a reason because if you can't trust the organization that is taking care of your money to do what's right with your data, then the banking system has a much bigger issue. Right? And they can't breach that trust. So I find that they're well prepared, and they go through a significant amount of due diligence to make sure whichever cloud provider they're going to work with is well prepared.
Right. And you think about what's the biggest currency for financial services is? It's trust.
It's trust, yeah.
That's one thing they cannot lose.
Right. Well, and this sense of trustworthiness with customers also, when there is that strong trust with customers, and SAP has built that with their customers, is that leads to that next evolution of the co-innovation and co-creation. So what I mean by that is that when SAP is co-creating, co-innovating with their customers and partner ecosystems as well, inside of this financial services institution, there's great solutions that can come out of that are purpose-built beyond just the financial services institution or industry, but for that company. And I was wondering, how has this really helped SAP's evolution of the financial services solutions with this co-innovation in mind?
I think the heritage of co-innovation, give you a couple of examples on that. I mean, from the insurance space. So if you look into the solution we have for reinsurers, right? So when you have Munich Re running on it, Gen Re running on it. I mean, Munich Re as the largest reinsurer was actually the company that was giving the input to that. We've partnered with partners on developing it, getting kind of the knowledge into this and packaging it up for a solution. Right? That's one of the aspects. Another solution, which today SAP Fioneer is working with, we have initiated and started with Swiss Re, right? To really do all the regulatory or let's say consider the accounting policy changes around IFRS 17, around long duration targeted improvements, LDTI, and now enhancing those solutions with the capabilities and investments that we have with SAP Fioneer is really going to be a huge thing. But our solutions basically really come from these co-innovations with our customers, right? And I think that is really the beauty of what we've seen as well with the advisory councils which we run with our customers, which are groups of C-level people that really kind of guide us to these innovations, right? And I think that the approach that we've been taking for financial services now is actually to have this investment power on one hand, and to have on the other hand as well the flexibility in terms of partnering, and as well kind of having a bit more time, right, in terms of delivering and the flexibility. And maybe Mitch, you want to comment on this?
As SAP Fioneer, we have so much flexibility in how we can actually co-innovate with clients, right? And so there's no shortage of ideas that are coming to us from clients, right? Even after 6 months on the things they'd like to see from us. And co-innovation is taking a couple different forms. Like we have a very, very solid core banking and core insurance solutions, but what's happening now is instead of having to really co-innovate with what's going on with the cores, some clients are deconstructing that and saying, listen, we want to launch a very specific product to the market, and we want to leverage your platform to do that. So whether it might be we just need to build a commercial lending solution. So as opposed to buying a whole banking, core banking system, they're being very focused on one single line of business. How do we automate that business from end to end? So that's one area. And the other thing that we're very focused on is how do we bring our labs much closer to the client, right? So how do we get the labs engaged with the client early on in projects so we can recognize, with some of our key clients where there might be some gaps, bring that back to the labs and make the labs part of working with the clients. Because then, everything feels a little bit more personal to the people in the labs when they have to talk to clients, right? And I think that's what's so exciting about what we're trying to do right now with Fioneer.
And innovation is not limited, by the way, to certain products.
Right.
So when you think about scalability, when you think about performance, when you think about data management, some of the things we have done in high volume industries like financial services are then applied across the 25 industries.
Right.
Because if we make it work for JP Morgan, you can be pretty sure it works for the rest of the world as well.
Right.
In terms of scalability, performance, security, etc.
Well, I like that you brought this up, and we've got to kind of wind things down here. But I like you brought up this wrapping up with co-innovation, because the reality is what worked a couple of years ago is not going to work now.
It's not going to work now.
And that continual evolution of what you all have been invested in with this co-creation, co-innovation with customers shows the continual journey that you're on with your customers and the strength you have with them and their trustworthiness. We talked about that's a key aspect we talked about today, is that trust in that. So it's been a pleasure chatting with all three of you and getting to know more about SAP's financial solutions and financial pioneers. That's how I'm always going to remember that, and what's going on. And thank you so much for your presence as part of our Industry Cloud Battleground. That's happening on day 3 of the event this week. So thank you so much and for joining me for the conversation.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.